I can't expect that right now. Denial wants to close the series out 3-0, send a message, and go strong into day 2. So we're jumping on with Mikwin from Denial.
I mean, for Denial, right, they felt like they were within arm's reach of being able to go to the finals at PGL and face off against Evil Geniuses, you know, and it was a tough matchup between them and CLG. A tough matchup in the winter bracket finals as well. Lots of things that Denial wishes that they could have, you know, gone in their favor there. So they want to get right back at it again. Taking a look at Mikwin's POV, that sword's going to be hanging out by Library, which is great for Denial. And really just going to continue to play the positions here. This is a great start for Denial, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. They're not trying to force any action. They tried to go over snipe power where they could, and actually a great push, I believe it was by Ares over at BR3. This is exactly what Liquid needs, because it seems like Denial tried to extend and try to take over snipe tower, because if you can get the full setup where you get BR tower and snipe tower, you can sit in B hill comfortably, but Ares made a great push. I think he did get the melee, so that's huge, doing that extra amount of damage, do as much damage as Kevin Mikwin, who was eventually taken down. But in the end, seems like Denial still holds on to their control of BR tower, and they might even have a full setup here soon.
Snipe coming through though, and who is that going to be from? I believe that, yes, a Spartan the dog.
All 4 down. They need to realize this, and Mikwin is already pushing over from Bomb Blue, doing some damage over at Snipe Tower. But point being is that Liquid had all 4 down, but they didn't push immediately over to BR Tower. They must have not communicated that.
Either that, or you know, it seemed like they were really anticipating that respawn more so. They were trying to go for another round.
Maybe they thought they were going to spawn Library and try to play it safe.
Yeah, that's actually what it looked like.
Yeah.
You know, because you had Spartan who was looking over by Library, and then that play probably got a call saying, no, they're pushing us from underneath from S1, and he turned around too late and ended up losing that battle. So Spartan back at it again. But B is going to be pretty much drained out at this point as we move over to the C hill, which is located at the top of the gravity lift.
Now we see we're on with Mikwin here, who has sniper rifle over at Snipe Tower. And it's interesting because, yeah, we've seen Mikwin go off with Sniper multiple times, but it seems like their team has even put more trust into Mikwin by giving it to him at the start of that last Shrine game.
Yeah, you know, Mikwin has proven that when he can go off, it is 1, a highlight reel, and 2, really sucks for the other team, right? Like, when he goes off, it is just it is horrible, right? If you're on the other team, you feel demoralized, and it's just...
Well, there's a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you go watch that highlight reel, and you'd be like, well, he kind of just hit a ridiculous no-scope right there,
like,
so there's nothing you can do about that. It's not like, should I have maybe ducked in midair? Or like, you can't overthink when you're putting shots on somebody and getting them no shields and they're still no-scoping you.
Yeah, exactly. There's just nothing that you can do about that. And for Mikwin, I mean, you know, for him, he just wants more of that, right? It's like, please, you know, may the Guardians provide me with all the power in the world. And what is he doing here? He's waiting for that player to challenge him up top. But look at the use of the movement. See, and one thing I wanted to point out before, when Spartan turned around and went for that challenge at the start of the game, I just want to make point, you know, maybe approaching it from the top would have helped him out a little bit more, just a side note there. But also another smart play from Mikwin, who ended up disposing the sniper rifle over the ledge before he died. That's a real heads-up play.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way in that situation. He had 1 bullet left. He could have really, if he wanted to, just, you know, try to go for that no-scope. Or maybe at least shot that bullet as he's falling off the map, so he knows that's going to come up just those 30 seconds faster before it has to despawn. But point being, as you said, a lot of times it's a natural instinct that these players, when they have a power weapon, they're going to die with it. They are getting jump off the map with it. It's kind of like being selfish with toys. It's like, you know what? Like when you're a kid, if you, I don't know if you had any siblings, but I remember if I had a toy, I would go hide it or something like that if I didn't want my brother to play with it. That's the same thing here. It's like, you know what? I can't play with this right now. Neither can you.
So you're a horrible sibling. just point it out. But, you know, something I want to point out there, man, Ares, the way he managed to stay alive with that sniper was pretty sick. And players standing still, Spartan able to get the 2 body shots there. Looking over, seeing who's going to be inside of E, and now there's going to be Liquid's time to rack up some points on the board. Lining up 1 beautiful headshot for him. And still, more time on the clock is always a good thing. A body shot assist, that's what you want to see. And smartly enough, dumping that sniper rifle, realizing that he cannot let Denial have it.
Sorry, I don't know where it's at.
Boy, you know, I feel. What is your brother? Do you have a brother?
Yeah, brother named Jason.
Oh man, you're. Listen, Jason, disown him, man. He's not a good guy. But you know what though? Denial able to get inside of the hill. This is bad. They got to take Chig out of here. That garbage time really. And if Chig is lucky, you know, he could have turned that for a couple more seconds there and really taken advantage of the situation. But here comes Hines back in there again.
Yeah, they're just dogpiling on the hill. This bomb center hill, I've always stated is one of the hills that you see the most time acquired in. Now, I'm not saying that a team can rack up massive amounts of uncontested time and get any sort of full setup, but it's just one of those hills that you almost have to commit to saying, hey, guess what? Let's send out 5 or 6 people throughout this next spawn cycle.
Yeah.
Jump in the hill, get a few seconds at a time and die, but you kind of trade back and forth time, because if the other team doesn't do it and they don't send the people down there to trade, you actually do get a sort of massive lead. It's almost one of those hills that you kind of trade time back and forth.
Yeah, you can transition easily from the Delta Hill over to Echo Hill, so that's another thing as well. But, you know, speaking of the hills, it's over to A now. No one has been able to pick up any time, and this is big for Liquid. If they can manage to get just a couple of seconds and have Aries support him with that snipe, this could be massive.
This is actually, it's so big because the only member alive over at BR Tower is Chig and Library. If they clear out Chig and Library, all the members will be spawned at Bomb Blue. But just as I say that, Mikwin spawns in Library as well. Liquid did not fully clear out the BR Tower. They got a little greedy and tried to go for top A hill. Had they cleared out Library, they could have had top BR, top snipe, with the sniper rifle, and had the enemy spawn at Bomb Blue. But because Chig did a good job creating opportunities, staying alive, he spawned Mikwin in Library, and they now have control of BR Tower.
Dave, hypothetical strategy Walsh, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true, man. The butterfly effect. You saw what happened.
That's
what
true.
What more proof do you need?
I know. I don't disagree with you, man. Okay, like, stop yelling. No, but seriously, though, I would have to say that for Denial, that couldn't have worked out better for them. They're going to continue to rack on some time here. And they're going to cross that 100-point mark, and no one has been able to challenge Chig just yet.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see that turn of events, just that one kill. Had they killed Chig, they would not have gotten these last 20 seconds. They would not have controlled BR Tower, and who knows what could have turned around in Liquid's favor.
All right, but now, you know, you're Liquid, you're in this situation. Mikwin has a sword, he just dropped it, fell off the map. What do you do here? What's the strategy? How do you make the approach?
I mean, you have one rotation left in this, so the way you look at it is so far there's been 7 minutes in the game. More than half the game has elapsed, and neither team has gotten, you know, if they're going at a certain pace, they're not going to finish this game by time. So you need to get time where you can. You need to scrap up time. So even in this top C hill, they need to scrap up some time here if they can. And that's exactly what Aries or Spartan is trying to do. And he's trying to at least get 5 or 10 seconds here, because realize how significant it is based on the pace of the game. Now, if you're looking at a different game where, let's say there's already 150 seconds on the clock, you just need to go for full subs. You just say, hey, guess what? We only need to go for that Delta Hill and scrap up a huge chunk of time, because with the pace of the game so far, it's going on full setups and teams getting huge chunks of time. But that's not quite the case here.
Well,
we
now
see both
they
teams
only have like
20 or 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah, they only have 20 seconds to go after D-Hill as well, right? I mean, you have Shooter in a position, but this could be bad. Noob combo coming out, and Denial's APG with the stop with the classic combo there. And Spartan focusing on this player by C, and that's just garbage time that he's continuing to rack up. Time that can play a factor as the clock above ticks down to 0. Dangerous territory for Liquid to be in here.
Very dangerous, because even if Liquid had Snipe Tower set up right now, they would have to scrap up these 30 or 40 seconds in this hill in order just to bring it back. But that's not even the case right now. Denial has control of Snipe Tower and is getting time in the hill.
This is bad news here for Liquid. They're going to be spawning at bottom blue, or the bottom of the gravity lift there. You know, I have to say, man, this is
it's looking dismal.
Bad.
It's definitely looking dismal for the Team Liquid squad, because they are already down by so much. We're talking about a 70-second deficit, and the next few hills are not super easy to get time. I mean, I've talked about there being a lot of time that you can scrap up in the E hill, but for the most part, against top squads or even squads, you're going about even in time. You can only expect maybe to get 20, maybe 30 seconds max in this E hill.
Yeah, and when you really think about it too, I mean, this was the hill that that Liquid needed to come back into this game, right? If they would have been able to establish sword control, but they never had firm footing in the Snipe Tower, and now they're in this predicament here where they could be sent to the losers bracket. And honestly, you know, if you're Liquid, you're going down a losers bracket, you're going to face off against a very hungry Optic Gaming squad. This is going to be very tough for Liquid, so this is do or die. They have to step it up right now.
Yeah, Optic has had more time to absorb the loss, to kind of shake it off and say, all right, let's look at this next match. We know we're going to play loser to this, so they can also study the starting strategies that we see from someone like Liquid and know exactly what they're going to do. So Optic, I would say, is at an advantage when it comes to this this next match if they are going to play against Liquid, which is what it's looking like, because right, as I said before, this Echo Hill, Hines just scrapping up time. Both these squads are scrapping up time, or at least trying to keep them out of the hill. So I think what we've seen the majority of this game, though, is Denial not making too many mistakes, just creating great opportunities. We see players staying alive over at Snipe Tower, staying alive over at BR Tower, and getting spawns for their squad, and not getting trapped over at Blue nearly as much as Liquid has.
Only 2 hills left here. The A hill, which is presently available, and that means 120 seconds left, or 120 points to accrue. Still doable, but they need the time in the A hill. They cannot allow Denial to stop them here. And Aries, as soon as he falls, he needs someone to charge right in there and get that time. Right now, someone should be getting inside of that hill.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Liquid's opting to try to just keep this full setup, which is important. They do need to keep Sniper Tower and VR Tower, but they also need to grab that hill time in A. It might be just too little too late. They just have to do everything so perfectly at the end here to make this happen, and I am not going to try to do the math yet, but it's getting close to mathematically impossible, because, I mean, at 110, there's only 70 seconds left, so they need a few seconds here, and it looks like they're trying to go for it, but it's, as we said before, too little too late. I think it's going to be a Denial victory.
Yeah.
And it should be mathematically impossible. It's already mathematically impossible. So.
Yeah, they needed at least 3 more seconds, and then they could have actually hung in this one and maybe tied it up. But I think that's pretty much going to do it there. You know, very tough matchup for Liquid. Tough pill to swallow without a doubt, because, you know, Denial, how do you stop it, right? Denial did everything right in that game.
Liquid hung with them that first game. So close. I mean, we're talking a game of near overtime. It was 12 minutes into the game, only 3 minutes left, and Denial was able to get that first cap.
Yeah, and there you have it, folks. Denial eSports, the players have stopped moving. That is pretty much going to wrap it up here. Denial eSports moves on through the bracket, while Team Liquid will have to face off against Optic Gaming. That will be a matchup for the ages, as both teams are fighting for their tournament life at the
that's still mind-blowing too.
Finals.
So they don't even get any time to absorb this loss. Liquid is going to obviously get a 1-match break, where I believe we will see Excellence versus Cloud9. But they only have that 1-match break before they have to play for their tournament life on